My name is Lucky Chedopali, and today I will be showing you the process of completing the square. So, first of all, what does completing the square mean? Well, completing the square is a method used to solve a quadratic equation by changing the form of the equation so that the left side is a perfect square trinomial. The basic standard formula for completing the square is the form ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0 to a times the quantity of x plus d squared plus e equals 0. I will further elaborate on this formula in the practice problems. So let's take our first practice problem, say x squared plus 12x plus 32 equals 0. So first of all, we're just going to subtract our c value to the other side. So we can rewrite this as x squared plus 12x equals negative 32. Next, what we're going to do is factor out the left-hand side. So we're just going to rewrite this as x squared plus 12x, and for the constant, or c value, all we're going to do is take our 12x, we're going to divide 12 by 2, and we get 6, and next what we do is just square 6, and from there we get 36. So we're going to write this as 36, and since we added 36 on one side, we're going to have to add it on the other side too to balance it out. And we did this to get a perfect square on the left side. Next, we're going to factor out the left-hand side, and from this, we have to check what two numbers add up to 12, but when multiplied by each other would equal 36. And that would be 6, because 6 plus 6 is 12, and 6 times 6 is 36. So we could write this out as x plus 6 times x plus 6, but instead we're just going to write it as x plus 6 whole squared, and let's solve the right hand side, and we know that negative 32 plus 36 would just equal positive 4. And now at this point we're going to square both of the sides to more easily attain our x values. So take the square root of x plus 6 squared equals the square root of 4, and from there we would just get x plus 6, because the square root and the square would cancel out. So x plus 6 on the left side equals plus or minus 4, because we're taking the square root of 4, And now we can solve for the two x values, and since we have to subtract 6 to the right hand side, first we would get x equals positive 4 minus 6, and we would also have x equals negative 4 minus 6, and our first value we would get x equals negative, oh sorry, my mistake, we would, in place of 4, we should get 2 because the square root of 4 is plus or minus 2. So our first value would be negative 4 because negative 6 plus 2 is negative 4, and we would also get x equals negative 8 because negative 2 minus 6 is negative 8. So these are our x values for x squared plus 12x plus 32 equals 0. So now let's take another problem, say x squared minus 10x plus 16 equals 0. So again, we're going to subtract our c value to the other side, the right hand side, so we can write this out as x squared minus 10x equals negative 16. Now let's factor it out. So x squared minus 10x, and so we're going to take negative 10, our b value, and half of that, half of negative 10 over 2 equals negative 5, and negative 5 squared equals 25. So we are going to be adding that plus 25 to make it a perfect square, and since we added 25 on the left hand side, we also have to add it to the right hand side. So we have negative 16 plus 25, and now we have to factor it out. So what two numbers equal 10 and also when added together and when multiplied together equals 25? Well, negative 5 minus 5 would be negative 10, and negative 5 times negative 5 is positive 25. So our number would be negative 5, which can be written as x minus 5 times x minus 5, but we'll just write it out as x minus 5 whole squared, and 25 minus 16 would just be 9. And from this point, again, we're just going to take the square root of both sides. So square root of x minus 5 squared equals the square root of 9. And again, our left hand side will be x minus 5 because we can just cancel out the square root and the square, so we'd have x minus 5 equals plus or minus 3. Don't want to do the same mistake as last time. So because we're taking the square root of 9, we'd get plus or minus 3. And once again, we're going to subtract or in our case, add 5 to both sides. So we would have x equal positive 3 plus 5, and also x equals negative 3 plus 5. So our two solutions would just be x equals 8, because we know 3 plus 5 equals 8, and also x equals 2, because 5 minus 3 is 2. So these are our x values for the quadratic x squared minus 10x plus 16 equals 0. Thank you for watching my video or presentation about completing the square, and I hope you learned from it. Bye! Thank you!